If you're a Genshin Impact player that got interested in playing Wuthering Waves but got super confused with all the new terms, I got you covered. In this video, I will explain to you all the basics of Wuthering Waves in Genshin terms, all the similarities and also some things that differentiate both of these games. Let's start with the most important, the gacha currencies and banners. The equivalent to Primogems are Astrites, Genesis Crystals are Lunites, Acquaint Fates are Lustrous Tides, and the limited pools Intertwined Fates are Radiant Tides. There's one difference here though. In Wuthering Waves, there's a special pool just for the limited weapon banner called Forging Tide. Now let's talk banners, starting with the beginner banner. At the beginning of Wuthering Waves, you have access to a limited beginner banner, like that Noelle banner in Genshin. But this banner has two phases. In the first phase, the heart pity is 50 and you get a random character from the standard banner. There's a discount for the pulls, so you can actually reach the 50 pity with only 40 pulls if you do 10 by 10. After you get your random character, the banner goes to phase 2 where the pity is 80, but you can target which character you want. Then there's the limited character banner, the standard character banner, the limited weapon banner, and the standard weapon banner, which is a new thing for Genshin players. Instead of having both characters and weapons in one standard banner, Wuthering Waves separates it in two. Both the limited weapon banner and the standard weapon banner are guaranteed for you to get the weapon you want. In the limited, there's a 100% chance of you getting the event weapon, and in the standard, you can select which weapon you want before pulling. The rates for every banner are almost the same in the two games, Genshin being 0.6% and Wuthering Waves being 0.8%, but the pity isn't the same. Apart from the beginner banner we already talked about, the hard pity for all banners is 80 and not 90 like Genshin. The soft pity seems to start scaling between pull 60 and 70. Now let's talk about the store. The prices of everything is literally identical to Genshin Impact. The Blessing of the Waking Moon is called Lunite subscription in Wuthering Waves and it works in the same way. The Lunite or Genesis Crystals cost the same and come in the same amount. There are some bundles, although they seem more valuable here in Wuthering Waves compared to Genshin. There's also free bundles you get by reaching some levels. Stardust is called Oscillate Coral and Star Glitter is called Afterglow Coral. The difference here is that in Wuthering Waves, you can buy constellations of the characters with Afterglow Corals. They cost a lot, but it's doable. The limited character constellations or copies are available only while they're in the banner. But the standard banner characters are available permanently and they also are cheaper. You can also buy 6 of standard banner, limited character, and limited weapon pulls per patch, which is different than Genshin that refreshes every month. Yeah, kinda sucks. Now going for the game terms. The Traveler or the main character is called Rover in Wuthering Waves. You can also choose between genders in the beginning of the game. Rover is a very good character and usable in all endgame modes. Rover can change elements like Ether and Lumine. The constellation system is called Resonance Chain in Wuthering Waves, but you will also hear it as sequences and sometimes as wave bands, which are the equivalent of Stellar Fortunas. Elements are called attributes. Talents are called forte. The elemental skill and elemental burst are called Resonance Skill and Resonance Liberation. Now elements. They are different in both games and they also work very differently. Anemo is Arrow, Cryo is Glacial, Pyro is Fusion, Electro is also Electro. There's no Geo, Dendro or Hydro, but there is Havoc, which is the dark element, and Spectro, which is the light element. Although elements exist in Wuthering Waves, their relevance and usage are very different. There are no elemental reactions in this game. Instead, teams are built around characters' intro and outro skills, which are special skills the characters activate when they are switched in and out of the field. Because of that, you can make a variety of teams mixing all the elements. So what is the use of the elements, you ask? Well, monsters and bosses have attribute or elemental weaknesses. So you either have an advantage or disadvantage with some elements while doing different types of content. The only attribute that I see having more of an identity in Wuthering Waves is Arrow or Anemo, which so far has 3 characters with crowd control abilities. The adventure level here is called Union level. The world level here is called Sol Tree Phase. Sol Tree being the name of the planet where their story takes place. Mora, your in-game currency, is Shell Credit. Hero's Wit is Resonance Potion. Enhancement Ores are Energy Cores. Resin are called Wave Plates. And Fragile Resin are Crystal Solvents. As of now, there is no version of Condensed Resin, but the cap in Wuthering Waves is 240. The Oculus you find exploring in the open world are called Sonen's Casket. You can also trade them for goods and main character constellations or copies in Wuthering Waves, but you'll go to an NPC in the city to do that. Teleport waypoints are Resonance Beacons, and the Statue of the Seven are Resonance Nexus. They also reveal part of the map when you unlock them. Wuthering Waves has a daily mission system. It's pretty easy to understand. You can access it from anywhere, so you don't have to go to the city to complete it. And every day the missions change. Generally, there's a daily quest, kill some amount of monsters, cook something, etc. Craftable weapons also exist in Wuthering Waves. The way you get the materials needed for it are similar. They come from weekly bosses, but the craft material is not tied specifically to the type of weapon you want to make, although you need 2 of these to make 1 weapon. By the way, the weekly boss limit is 3. The materials needed to upgrade skills and weapons are the same, so the equivalent of talent and weapon domains is the Forgery Challenge. They're also scattered around the open world. Lane lines don't exist in Wuthering Waves, and to get experience materials and shell credits, you'll have to go to the NPC Yan in the city and choose the corresponding stage. The reputation system exists in Wuthering Waves as well. You have to go to the Pioneer Association and speak with this very cute NPC called Machi, and you can get rewards based on how much you explore the areas. The rewards are similar with Genshin as well. They include the crafted materials for Resonance Beacons or Waypoints, craft materials for Sonen's Casket searching or Oculus searching, and a loot mapper. The loot mapper, by the way, works differently in Wuthering Waves and it's very efficient. The Battle Pass is very similar to Genshin, including the layout, so you can get lost here. The difference would be that the more expensive version of it includes already a material to refine or rank up your Battle Pass weapon. So you basically get 2 weapons in 1 Battle Pass. Artifacts are called echoes here, and that's one of the biggest differences between both games. If I go through every detail of the ecosystem, this video will get too long, so I'll try to explain as quick as possible. In Wuthering Waves, every time you kill a monster on the open world, there's a chance you catch his echo, kinda like Pokemon. That echo becomes a piece of equipment or an artifact. If you're gonna get a 3-star, 4-star or 5-star echo, depends on the level of your data bank, which increases the more you catch new echoes. So this means you can get almost unlimited artifacts or echoes every day by wiping every monster in your world. They reset daily, so if you're a try-hard player, you can go crazy here. This is where another point comes in. Co-op is also a reality in Wuthering Waves, and you can rotate with your friends to farm echoes in their world and vice versa. To level the echoes, you have to do the Wuthering Waves version of artifact domains, which are called Tacit Fields. For this, you will spend your waveplates or resin, and you will get echoes and the material to level them and unlock their substats. There's more to it, but you'll learn more as you play the game. The equivalent to Spiral Abyss is the Tower of Adversity. You have the beginning basic levels, like the floor 1 to 8 in Genshin, and then you have the Hazard Zone, which is like floor 9 to 12 of the Spiral Abyss, and it refreshes every 2 weeks like in Genshin. Each floor has a buff as well, but it works a bit differently. There's a thing called Vigor, which basically limits the amount of times you can use a character in the mode. Each stage of a floor costs a set amount of Vigor, but because you can enter each stage and each floor separately, it creates the possibility of you using the same character for both floors in different stages, for example. It also means you can use artifacts or echoes and even weapons of characters already used in other floors or stages. There are 2 other endgame modes. One of them is called Depth of Elusive Realm, which doesn't have an equivalent in Genshin, but is very similar to the simulated universe in Honkai Star Rail. And then there's the Tactical Holograms, which is exclusive of Wuthering Waves, and there are very hard one-time boss fights with 6 different difficulty levels. And I mean hard as in if you get hit, you'll die. The combat is the biggest difference between both games. While in Genshin, the elements and rotations is what matters the most, in Wuthering Waves, learning how to dodge and parry while making good use of characters' intro and outro skills is the main point. In Genshin, you have a team of 4 characters, while in Wuthering Waves, you have a team of 3 characters. The combat style of Wuthering Waves leans more towards a quick swap style instead of characters that take too much field time, so you change back and forth a lot more than in Genshin. That would be it for this adaptation guide. Please keep in mind that I mean no hate towards Genshin, nor I created this video with the intention of starting drama. I believe, despite the words that goes around saying bad things about this community and that community, that there are a lot of people out there that just want to have fun. And there are a lot of people who can play both games and enjoy both of them without having to hate on each other. I hope you liked this video, feel free to like it and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.